Hi, welcome to Back to School Night for AP Language and Composition. I just wanted to briefly start by introducing myself and my family. This is my husband, Sean, and my daughter, Bryn. She'll be a year old in just a couple weeks now. And these are our three pups. Over here on the left, we got two old rescues and one little Boston Terrier. Another thing I want to share about myself that's relevant to the course is that I've been teaching AP language for a long time and I really believe in it. And it's a course where I've been an AP reader for several years as well. So that means that in the spring, when it's time to score this test, I've traveled to Florida to score thousands and thousands of student essays. Or this past year, I just sat in my own chair and scored them online. So this is a course that I've invested a lot of time in and gotten a lot of training in, and I love the course and I believe in the exam. So I very much teach the exam because the exam is all about writing. There are three different types of essays that your student is going to have to learn how to tackle, and I think that they're very valuable tasks. The first is called the argument essay. I'm sure your student already loves to argue. That's the one that we always start with. So we'll be covering that in the first quarter. In fact, we've already begun. The second type is called the synthesis essay. This is where students have to use multiple sources and cite them in order to take a position on an issue. And the third one is called a rhetorical analysis that we'll get to in the third quarter. And that's where students look at a professional piece of writing and they have to pick it apart and explain what makes it work. Those are the three major tasks on the AP exam. We'll be practicing one of those per quarter. We're going to practice those weekly. So as you can see here on the syllabus, the students are going to be writing an essay a week for me. During that independent work time on Thursdays, they have approximately 40 minutes to write. Students with extended time have an hour, and they'll get those back very quickly, 24 hours, 48 hours max, so that they get really quick feedback on their writing. We'll also be doing some online practice on the College Board's AP Classroom site because the other portion of the exam is multiple choice. So we'll practice that online as well. And then finally, we will be doing some reading. I think to become good writers, they're going to need to be good readers. So we're going to read a bunch of nonfiction, things like speeches and essays and letters and articles, and a few longer texts, a few full-length books, which will also be nonfiction. This is a purely nonfiction course. Just want to briefly mention the grading this year. So the AP essays themselves, those weekly essays, are worth 40% of the grade. So that's like the biggest chunk of the grade that they've got to deal with. And I would strongly encourage kids to come to tutorial if they're just not getting the scores there that they want. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to develop as a writer. It's not an overnight thing, but I think with editing and thought, that all students can and will improve. You can see here there are three categories that are each worth 15%. Any other kind of assessment outside of an AP essay would fall into this category here, including like quizzes or essays besides the AP essay. Then we have independent work. That's the work that I assign outside of our Zoom time together. Classwork, which is anything that the students hand in to me during our Zoom time. And then this final 15% here is based on participation and engagement during our tech time. And this tech time category itself is new this year, so I'm going to briefly talk about that. In each of your child's classes, they'll be getting a tech time grade this year whenever the class meets on Zoom. And that's 5 points for these things here: video, audio, time, position, and engagement. The last thing I want to mention was just a few class policies, and these are actually school policies. So if a student has an excused absence, of course they can make up the work. They have as many days to make up the work as days they missed. So if they missed 2 days, they have 2 days to make up the work. If it's an unexcused absence, I'd like the student to talk to me about why they missed class, and we'll see if their work will be accepted or not. If it is accepted, it will be given partial credit. If a student is tardy to class, this is being treated the same way online that it was being treated in person, which is to say that on the fourth tardy, a student will lose 5% from their grade for the quarter. So we really want to watch those tardies. And lastly, late work. Any kind of major assessment, like the weekly AP essays, a large project, anything like that, I will take late just because the zeros on those can really torpedo a student's grade. But the smaller assignments may not be accepted late. Again, I just encourage students to talk to me. What happened? Why was it late? So on. I'd love to hear from any of you. You can email me at efoley@latinpcs.org if you have any further questions or you'd just like to introduce yourself.